All right. Good evening, everyone. Compliance with the Open Public Meetings Law. I wish to state that on October the 11th, 2013, the notice of this meeting of the Upper Township Committee was posted on the official Township Bulletin Board, mailed to the Cape May County Gazette, the Atlantic City Press, the Ocean City Sentinel Ledger, the Herald Times, and filed with the Township Clerk. Tonight's meeting is being video recorded and will be available on UTTV Channel 2 and on the Upper Township website. I hereby direct that this announcement be made a part of the minutes of this meeting. I would ask all to rise for the salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Barbara, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Here.
Mr. Corson? Mr. Insera?
Here.
Mr. Newman?
Here.
Mayor Palumbo?
Here.
All are present.
Okay. Would someone like to make approval of the minutes from September 23rd, regular and closed?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the September 23rd minutes and the closed session minutes. Second.
Is there any corrections, deletions, omissions that anyone's aware of? Hearing none. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Insera?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Okay. So now we'll see. Barbara, do you have anything for us this evening?
I have a couple of things. The first thing is we have our annual health fair on Monday, the 21st, from 1 to 3. And the public is invited to come out and join us for that. The county will be there to offer free flu shots for that, and
Very nice.
among other things.
Can we make sure that gets on Channel 2, please?
It already is.
Good. Good job.
The second thing is Halloween. We're going to have trick-or-treat here in Upper Township from 5 to 8 p.m. on October 31st. So we have that up on the website, and just want everybody to be careful of all the little trick-or-treaters out there on that night. And then the last thing I have is I just want to remind everyone that tomorrow we have the special Senate general election, and the clerk's office will be open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. if you have questions about your polling place or things of that nature. And that's all I have.
And I guess my one question is, we're good with the polling places? I know it's a different day, and sometimes
Yes.
there'll be some conflicts. No problems with that?
No, we
Everybody's
have all
at
the same
place?
polling places as before.
Okay.
Were the polling places updated on Channel 2?
Yes.
Yes. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Daniel?
Nothing at this time, but we do have a number of closed session matters. We have 2 contract negotiation items and 2 litigation items.
Okay. Paul?
Thank you. At your desk this evening, I gave you a copy of the letter of resident for the new trash and automated carts. We've been, with the Public Works Department, we've been working on getting this letter together, and last week met with the mayor, Mr. Insera, and our department heads, and went over the final draft of the letter. I just wanted to give a copy to the Township Committee, make sure everybody had a copy, and if they had any last final comments before we mailed it out. I know Curtis gave me some comments here before the meeting. We'll try to get that letter out to the residents over the next week or 2.
Yep. And you know what? I would make a suggestion on the letter that has the pictures of the trash cans. I know Mr. Corson talked to you about making some suggestions. The other thing I would suggest is there really isn't anything on the front page that says that the request is on the back page. So, I mean, people may miss that if they're going page to page. Okay. So I would make sure you put something on the front page saying, please see back for survey. Just because
They may not flip the page.
I mean, people may just go, okay, and then put it in the recyclable bin, as it were. So,
No problem.
okay.
And if they don't respond, they're taking 2 large cans.
If they don't respond, they're getting 2 large cans. And it's not meaning this is not their only time to respond.
Right.
As we get going with the program, there'll be ample opportunity. We'll be putting information on the website that these forms and this information will be on our public Works page, so that if they lose this letter and they get the new cans and they want to switch them out, at some point, we'll have a procedure to file those forms with the Public Works Department, and then they can get a can swap.
Okay. Yeah, and this is really a part of the whole process that we said this is going to be a real educational process for all of us, including the residents, and so Public Works, ourselves, the residents themselves, and so, I think this is good that we're starting to go through this a little bit to get some idea of what kind of cans people are looking for and what we need to do moving forward, so.
Last sentence in paragraph 2 says additional cats. I don't think we're purchasing cats. We want to get parts.
Yep.
Definitely get parts.
Good pickup.
Additional cats can be purchased if you can have
Okay, good. So I think if anybody else has any further comments, please make sure you talk to Paul, and we'll eventually get this out at sometime in the near future. So
Yes. The next item I had, I met with Mr. and Sarah and Roy Schoen last week in discussing the equipment purchases that we had appropriated in the bond, and we were kind of waiting to bring those forward to Township Committee to see the results of the trash award and everything like that, some of the other initial things. And at this point, we'd like to request, we had it on the bond for a 6-yard dump truck and snow plow, and that needs to go out to public bid, and then also our roadside boom mower needs to go out to bid. So we need a resolution authorizing those 2 items to go out to bid, and they were within the bond.
Yeah, I'd like to move forward with that. It's going to be a 60-foot lawnmower.
okay, so is that a motion? Is that for both?
Yes.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
Hold on.
That's not, the 16-foot mower is on the next item. I have a couple items, and I'm kind of going to differentiate them on how they're going to be purchased. Those 2 items, the boom mower, which is a roadside boom mower,
mounted on a tractor.
mounted on the large tractor. Yes. And then the dump truck, those are both items, they're not available on state contract or another co-op type purchase, and that needs to be publicly bid. So those are those 2
And
equipment
all we're
purchases.
looking for is to put a motion on the floor to authorize a resolution at our next meeting to authorize it.
To go out to bid,
Yes.
correct.
So you've made that motion?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Mr. Newman.
Okay, sorry. Second by Jay. Any other discussion on this?
Everybody's okay? Move forward.
Okay, hearing none, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Insera?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
The next item is a 16-foot wide the recreation mower. That we have found is available on what's called the International Public Intergovernmental Purchasing Agreement. It's a national co-op where different agencies get together on a national scale and bid out various products. And one of the items that they did was recreational power equipment. And the only vendor that makes this equipment is on that list. And we've done some financial analysis, and there's some other program information that you kind of have to go through. So it's kind of we need to do some public notice and some other information that Barb has to go through. So we kind of need authorization to join that co-op and complete their required paperwork and other public
Is
notices.
there a cost of doing that?
No, there's no cost.
Is this, by joining and doing this, we will still comply with best practices, all your qualified purchasing agent stuff that we need to do?
It's all a process that we have to work through. First, we have to join the national co-op, and then we go from there and advertise, and I've looked at the contract initially, but there's still a lot of things that need to go on, but we have to join the co-op first.
This is not going to hurt us in an audit or
No,
in
no.
a state purchasing, state contract situation.
Both Kimmie County has just recently, this past summer, purchased 2 mowers from under the same contract.
Yeah, Barbara's done extensive work on that, research on that, to look into that.
Now, let me ask you something. So this is going to take a few weeks to do, right? To go through this process to join the co-op, or is it something that Okay, so we'll take a few weeks, because the only thing I was wondering, and I'm just thinking out loud, I know that League of Municipalities is coming up, and a lot of times they have, like, show deals, like, because they're display deals or whatever, and I just want to make sure that if we can, in the event we can get a better price just for that day that someone's visiting, the League of Municipalities, or they have something that's available that's more reasonable, we'll have that option.
We can look, but typically the different times we've been there, this size of mower is not typically at the show, but we can look.
But I would suggest that we do that as well, because there has been times where they say, for, special for League of Municipalities, this is the deal. You know what I'm saying? So.
In addition, we should still do what we're doing.
Oh, I'm not saying we shouldn't. I agree. I just want to make sure we can find the most reasonable way of doing this. So.
You need a motion for that, Barb, or?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll make the motion for that. Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Ansara?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
The next item is regarding two vehicles. If you remember on the bond, we had discussion about, we requested three vehicles, a utility body pickup truck, a pickup truck with snowplow, and then a mini dump with a snowplow. But because of how those budgetary numbers were coming in, the committee authorized for two vehicles, a utility body mini dump and a utility body pickup truck. Once we got all looking at that mini dump utility box, we found that was not going to fit the need of the department as far as buying a utility body mini dump. Yes, it was going to provide us the functionality to plow and to spread salt, but considering we were only going to do that 5 to 10 times a year compared to...
How many times? We're not anticipating snow 5 or 10 times.
I mean, that's at the most.
Whereas just checking, that sounds like a lot.
Whereas the utility body truck needing that for every day that we're here, from a functionality standpoint, working out of that mini dump, for the job duty that truck was going to be assigned to wasn't practical. When we went out and looked at the actual state contract prices for the different vehicles, instead of those two vehicles at a cost of $105,000 on state contract, we'd like to request that the same utility body pickup truck, a half-ton pickup truck for a supervisor, and then the 3/4 ton pickup with a plow on it. And the total of those prices are $70,828. So for the three vehicles, we're almost $30,000 less than what we were anticipating for the two vehicles. But we're going to get more functionality out of the vehicles. Barb, I think, has to do a little research on the wording in the bond to make sure how we specifically listed those trucks, since we're changing the number and the type of truck. If the committee's okay with us buying those more functional trucks that are going to serve the township in a better capacity, also at a lower price, we can move forward with those state contract purchases if the bond is wording is working with bond counsel.
We should get the bonding question resolved before we proceed with it.
So we'll come back to the committee with that question answered for the next meeting. Okay.
So Barbara will put that for unfinished business for the next meeting, please.
Yeah.
The last item I just want to report on was I did go over this morning and surveyed the beach after that long, slow nor'easter that we had. There was some minor erosion. We didn't have any major scarping of the beach, but we did lose a little bit on the profile, especially up on the north end. We lost a little more sand up there, but nothing of an emergent nature. That's all I have for this evening.
Okay. Barbara.
I have nothing this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Jay?
First, Mr. Mayor, a couple of words. We had our, last Wednesday, we had our annual fire prevention and public safety open house at firehouse, participated, all the emergency services in the township participated in. For the weather, we had a little bit of iffy weather the whole time, kind of rainy drizzle. We had extremely good turnout for the weather situation. The firehouse was packed, and the kids were enjoying themselves, and the parents were too, I'm sure. So that worked out pretty well. Also, report that the security committee did meet, and we will be presenting probably in the next meeting or so some recommendations to the township committee to move forward a couple of things. So that has happened. We will be moving forward. That's it.
Okay, thanks. Curtis?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The only thing I have, where is the paving project?
Oh, I forgot to report. The paving project is out to bid, and I anticipate receiving bids next week. There's been about 4 or 5 bidders that have picked up the plans and specifications, and probably about another 3 or 4 bid servicing companies, that re-advertise the bid to a larger audience out there.
Thank you. That's all I was wondering.
Okay. Tony?
I am up this time, Paul, for anything to watch.
Okay. Ed?
Just one reminder that we're going to have the rabies clinic will be October 26th, Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. That's all I have to report.
Okay.
The Apple Fest too is coming up in October 19th p.m. So
October 19th,
It's Saturday.
Saturday.
this Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we put that on Channel 2, please?
That is already on Channel 2. As
You
well
guys
as,
are on the ball. That's good.
as well as the quilt show that's happening at the community center this weekend too.
Okay.
What's happening this weekend at the community center?
Quilt show, South Shore Stitchers.
Okay, I have a lot of good news to report. First of all, Congressman Lobiando's office called me this week, sent out a letter to back it up, and we've talked a lot about the partnership that we've joined with Ocean City and with Sea Isle in working towards having what they call the Ludlam Island Great Egg Harbor project. Anyway, it has absolutely been approved. It has been funded. They anticipate a beach replenishment for south end of Ocean City, for Strathmere and Sea Isle sometime in the spring. It is 100% funded, so we will not have to put any allocations of money from the township in. And so we're talking about right now multi-million dollar, it's actually a $60 million project. So, basically at no expense to the township. It's not $60 million just for Strathmere, but it's an overall project between south end of Ocean City, Strathmere, and Sea Isle, and it's ongoing. So I think that's incredible news for the township. We have certainly worked to keep the beaches replenished, to protect the personal structures and infrastructures, homes and infrastructures that we have over in Strathmere. And this is really a good opportunity to pat ourselves on the back a little bit. We worked hard with this. Paul, thank you for staying on top of this, and Dan, as you as well. The partnership between the 3 towns, the 3 mayors, we all signed the request, and we have been granted the request. So that is significant and fantastic news. And like I said, we anticipate a major beach replenishment to take place sometime in the spring. So that's the first thing. The next thing I'm happy to report is that I also received a phone call from one of the governor's staffs, and we have been granted $142,000 grant, basically because of Hurricane Sandy, for backup generators and other emergency systems in the township. I know Paul had applied for the grant. We received that on October 10th, so that's a significant amount of money, $142,000, so that we can upgrade and put emergency generator in there. We also received, since our last meeting, a letter from the county, and we have been approved for $220,000 grant, an open recreational grant for Amanda's Field. So that's a significant amount of money. We should be able to finish a lot of the projects that are over there with that grant. And that is a grant that we do not have to, there's no funding that involves the township. And then finally, although I don't have paperwork on it yet, it's my understanding that we've also received a grant from the county for $280,000 to do the Bayview Avenue boat ramp in Strathmere. So it has been a significant amount of grant money that has come into the township since our last meeting. Just adding up the 220 and 280, that's 600,000 right there. As well as 142,000 more, and the millions that go into the project. So this has been an unbelievable month for the township. I can't thank Paul enough. He went through a lot of the paperwork. Can't thank Dan enough for all he's done, and our staff, Barbara. This isn't an effort that comes specifically for writing a letter and request. There's a lot of research and background work that needs to be done to get these grants. So kudos to all of you, because this has been a successful month for the township. There are projects that need to be done, and there are projects that we funded, and that certainly will work well as far as the taxpayers are concerned, because these are grants that we do not have to put in any funding from the township for that. So great job, and I think a round of applause for all of you, because it's very well done. Keep up the good work, because it's very significant, and it really enhances the township. So that's all I have. Enough good news for one night. Perfect. Barbara, would you please proceed?
Sure. Okay, the first resolution, item number 1, reappointment of James Schuler as groundskeeper to the Upper Township Department of Public Works.
Just before you act on this, there was a revised resolution that clarified some of the civil service terminology, so you should have that. I think that was placed at your seats when you came in.
So they changed the name. Is that what happened?
Civil service changed a number of titles, and this is, our resolution was corrected to coincide, to reconcile the changes with our salary ordinance and what we used to call those titles.
Do we just... Out of curiosity, do we have to do anything with the salary ordinance?
No. We will for next year.
Okay.
Civil Service made the changes this year, but because this is a reappointment and the title changed to put him into the new title, we had to acknowledge in the resolution it's really the old title under the salary ordinance.
Actually, we're trying to put it together our salary, and so I guess Barbara's aware of that.
Okay, so I'll make the motion to for the reappointment of James Schuler.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
We'll have to abstain from this on.
Okay. All right, Barbara, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Corson is abstaining. Mr. Insera?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
4 in favor, motion is carried. Item number 2, authorizing the mayor to sign and submit a municipal aid grant application for fiscal year 2014.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Insera?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
And Paul, this will cover Bayview Avenue, is that?
A portion of it. Last year, we did receive a grant for $250,000, and that about gets you about 2 blocks worth of reconstruction work over there, and this would be for an additional 2 blocks.
I just want to make sure, because there's some residents from Stratton here, so just want to make sure they were aware of it. Go ahead.
Item number 3, tax refund for Block 560, Lot 9.06.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Insera?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 4, adopting revisions to the Upper Township purchasing policy.
Move the resolution.
Second.
And we just want to get a little summary for the audience, please.
I'll defer to Barb, but I believe the major change was
Added one section.
it's on when you have a tie bid.
Tie bid, when we're publicly bidding just our process on how we handle if we would have a tie bid. We have had one a year or two ago, and it's just basically says that we follow the statute, and it just basically says that between the Township Committee and the purchasing agent, we can determine the best vendor in the event of a tie bid.
Okay. So, would you like to call the roll?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Insera?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 5, appointment of Joseph T. Kenny to provide building and inspection services to the Township of Upper with regard to Municipal Trust Fund Housing Rehabilitation Program.
Move the resolution.
And Paul, this is something that isn't this part of the criteria?
This is a continuation of the same contract we had last year. It's part of our housing rehab program. There has to be inspections of the property to make sure the rehabilitation program's going, or the work is being done in accordance with the agreement, and this person goes out and inspects it, and he's hired to do that on behalf of the township.
He also prepares the bid specifications for the jobs.
Okay. Any other discussion? Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Insera?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 6, authorizing the award of a contract with Foglio's Flooring Center for carpeting.
Move the resolution. Second.
We're on it, aren't we?
We're on.
For those that didn't notice, we actually have new carpet in here, so. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Insera?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 7, authorizing the award of a contract with DeMayo's Incorporated for underground storage tank removal.
This is for the gas station?
This is for the Sam's Gold pump and tucking.
More than thank you.
Yes, and just to clarify, both of these are really to ratify and just put on the record the pay-to-play certifications and make it, because they require pay-to-play certifications, and it has to become an official award of contract and come to the Township Committee for award. But they've all already gone through the process of review of their competitive quotes, review of their pay-to-play certifications, so all the documentation. This is kind of the final formality of putting that all together, that official paperwork.
Because the contracts are over 17.5, that's why they have to come to Township Committee for ratification.
Is there any other further discussion or questions? Would you call the roll, please?
Did we have a motion? I'm
Oh, we
sorry.
have a motion? Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Insera?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion carried. Item number 8, authorizing the execution of a subcontract with the County of Cape May for the fiscal year 2014-2015 for the Municipal Alliance Program.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Okay, and this is for this year's allocation, and we do this jointly for the audience with Ocean City, so it really puts together a significant amount of funding, and they're able to expand the program significantly by partnering with Ocean City, so. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Insera?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 9, authorizing the purchase of a loader bucket from the 2013 Capital Improvement Bond ordinance in the amount of $12,328.58.
We should probably explain what happened. You had authorized the contract previously, and it was sent out via purchase order that was signed, but the other company never performed on that purchase order. That's been terminated, and this is the next best quote, I believe, and that's why it's been brought back to the Township Committee for reauthorization with a new company.
So we had a purchase order, a signed purchase order. May you sign it?
They signed it, yes. Yes, you have contractual rights, and frankly, if you wanted to discuss it, the difference, I believe, is $1,100?
Just under 1,500.
$1,500, okay.
The problem with that is by the time we institute legal services at $1,500. It's going to cost us more to just...
And we could discuss it in closed session if you want. I can put it on a future agenda if you'd like to discuss it. We did, when we terminated the contract, we reserved all of our rights. So we have the right to go after them for the difference if we want to.
And this loader bucket is necessary for leaf season, so time, at this point, we need...
And you know what, Curtis, I understand exactly where you're coming from, because I was annoyed myself, and the response we got back from them was that the price has gone up, okay? So, you know, normally I would say, okay, let's take advantage of the contract we have in place, but the problem is, we're even though we're talking $1,000, and $1,000 is $1,000, by the time we start the process to move forward and institute a lawsuit, it would cost us more money, obviously.
Can the second bidder deliver product?
Yes, he can get it, they'll be able to get it, once they have the purchase order, 4 to 5 weeks, so it shouldn't interfere with leaf season.
Now, the obvious little bidder didn't deliver. Can we preclude them from being, like, we're gonna put a tractor out for bid? I mean, obviously, we don't know whether that is road again.
Prior track records, we might have to have a hearing. If they're the lowest bidder, it's a responsibility. The question, are you the lowest responsible bidder? The fact that they didn't perform would be one of the issues that would be at the hearing, if they were the low bidder.
Because I would hate to see this go, and then,
You know, that's on record, and the comment comes around again, you know, where we stand with it.
I mean, I understand we gotta buy this thing, but I just don't want to see this bidder be a little bidder again.
That would be on record.
Agreed. But unfortunately, I think our hands are a little tied, because we're getting into the leaf season, and we need this thing, and
It should have been,
so, you know, in an effort to continue to offer the services that we provide, you know, we need to have this piece of equipment, so. If there's no other discussion, I'll ask for a roll call.
Can we have a motion?
Someone like a motion?
Second.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Barr?
yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Ansara?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
I do have one thing, if we could, probably to avoid the confusion next time when we have to do a pay-to-play certification, instead of authorizing you to a contract, call it that, why don't we just call it something certification, because it isn't.
Sure.
You know,
Generally, they're done before the contract is let. Is only in this instance it was discovered that we're over 17.5 after the billing came in. That's my understanding of what happened.
That's correct. It is, I mean, I did get the language from the state. It is an award contract. It is a little misleading because it's following up. It's not.
Well, perhaps just the wording in the agenda should be different, not necessarily in the wording of the contract. That way, for the folks that in ours, it's like, oh, we're sitting on the carpet we already, while we were.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Barbara, they haven't been paid for the carpet that we're sitting on either, right?
That's correct. It's not.
But still, it's there. And it just would be a little bit clearer.
But we don't have a contract with them yet. They delivered it without a contract.
Minor point. I'm sorry. I apologize, Mr. Mayor.
No problem.
Okay. Item number 10, Upper Township Soccer Association requests to hold a raffle on November 16, 2013 at the Seaville Firehouse.
Move we allow it. Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Ansara?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
I hereby move that all claims submitted for payment at this meeting be approved and incorporated in full in the minutes of this meeting.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Ansara?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion carried.
There are a number of reports from our municipal departments: Animal Control, Construction Code, Clerk's Office, Division of EMS, Finance Office, MUA report, Municipal Court, Tax Assessor, Tax Collector, and zoning reports. Any of these reports will be available tomorrow at the Clerk's Office. I'd like to make a motion now that we accept these reports.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Ansara?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Okay, so we've reached that time of the meeting where we open it up to the public. So if anyone would like to address the Township Committee, please come forward. Get close to the mic, give us your name and your address. Okay, hearing silence, and it doesn't appear that anyone has any comments this evening. We'll close the public comment session, and I'll call on Mr. Newman to make a motion.
I hereby move that a resolution be incorporated in the minutes authorizing the Township Committee to enter into executive session for the following matters pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act. Number one, contract negotiations. Gibson Associates. Number two, contract negotiations. Shared services agreement with Decatur County for medical expertise. Number three, litigation of Rutherford versus Upper Township. Number four, litigation of Upper Township versus Yankton Center. I also include my motion to estimate time, the circumstances under which the discussion conducted in closed session can be disclosed to the public as follows. A, anticipated that matters discussed in closed session may be disclosed to the public upon the determination of the Township Committee that the public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality. B, with respect to contract negotiations, such matters will be made public when negotiations have ceased and there is no longer a reason for confidentiality. C, with respect to the litigation matters, such discussions will be made public when litigation is complete and the applicable appeal period has expired.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Insera?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you all. Have a great evening.